Hello, welcome back to my channel. So I am doing what every YouTuber does when they run out of good video ideas. I'm doing a tier list. So let's start here with this tier list. Who has had the best signings here in January, in my opinion. So I'm just gonna do this in like alphabetical order here, as it seems to be sorted like that. Now some clubs will have, like, for example, Bournemouth. They haven't exactly signed a lot of big name players, but I'm not gonna judge them the same way that, for example, I'll judge Arsenal, because Arsenal obviously trying to go for a title race, whereas Bournemouth is just trying to get top 10, hopefully a European spot for them. So let's begin with Bournemouth. I mean, I look at their transfers here, and none of this is particularly exciting. So maybe the most exciting here is Billing from Napoli. I mean, who really cares? Let's be honest, he's a bench player. Kai Crampton, I hadn't even heard of him before this transfer window. Apparently a Chelsea player, so doesn't seem like anything changed for them in the transfer window. It seems like more of the usual, just keeping the status quo. So for Bournemouth, I'm just gonna put them in okay, because they've had a decent season so far. They don't really need to do a lot in the window. They got in a few new bodies, remains to be seen what we'll get from them. Then early spice here with Arsenal. Yeah, they did nothing, literally nothing in that window. I mean, you go to Arsenal here. Thiago Zago Jr. Congratulations. This is nothing. I mean, none of this matters. None of this matters. All of these players, I mean, they're just away or stuff. You're in a title race. Second right now, trying to win a league title. What do you need? A striker. You need to reinforce, get a striker, kick on after a good Man City game. And what happens? No one is signed. You could have gotten Vlahovic from Juventus, you could have gotten another striker somewhere, maybe go to La Liga, you could have gone to Bundesliga, Kleindienst right now having a very good season. They sign no one. That is pathetic. That is pathetic. If you are in for the title race, you are 6 points behind, you have a chance of catching up, winning that title. You can win the title at Anfield, by the way. If you win at Anfield, there's a chance you win the title at Anfield, because it's almost the end of the season. And no one was signed. That is pathetic. I don't know any other words to describe it. Surely, with a striker, Arsenal would be so much better. All the young talent coming through. And they do nothing. Now, if you had a good striker there, then sure, maybe I could overlook that. You don't have a striker. That is pathetic. Honestly, Arsenal has the most pathetic, most poorly managed transfer window in the Premier League here. The fact that they do nothing in January, I mean, even if it is difficult to do things in January, which by all means it is, one signing could have made the world of difference for Arsenal, and they got no one. That, in my opinion, is tragic. Now, for the world class, by the way, I'm only going to have one team in this world class over here, so I'm gonna put everyone that I want to talk about for the world class over here in good, and then at the end of the video we can revisit the world class aspect, right? So, Aston Villa has had a really good window. You look at them, they got in, what is his name? Rashford. Obviously, Duran left. Rashford on loan is a pretty good signing, I think. They've got in a few other players. Garcia, less interesting. Very interesting in my opinion, Daniel Malen. I mean, Daniel Malen not playing his best season at Dortmund, but he can chip in with goals, he can provide something. He is not a great player, but he's a very decent player, isn't he? So they've gotten in a few players. Marco Asensio, oh my days, I forgot about this. Yet they got in Marco Asensio. That is an incredible window. Axel Disasi as well, from Chelsea. Just stocking up the squad, getting in a bit more rotation. Rashford can do a job off the bench. I rate him. I think he is one of the most overhated players in English football, simply because he has been poorly managed. I think Aston Villa is going to kick on from here, and I think they will get a European spot, which was presumably the goal of Aston Villa here, going into the transfer window. Next up, Brentford. I did not really hear anything about Brentford here in the transfer window, if I'm being honest. What did they do? They did nothing. They did nothing, so... I guess they... what's really the goal, though? Like, they got this guy from Fiorentina. I'll be honest, I don't know him. I guess they just... I don't know. Brentford is difficult for me, because if you look at the league table right now, Brentford is comfortably in mid-table, but they could have maybe got an extra body in there to stock up that squad too, because they have a good starting 11, but the bench is poor, so it's difficult, but I'll put them in poor, and we'll go through some other clubs there, and then we can reassess this Brentford one, right? But I think it's quite poor there. Now, Brighton have been a bit more active. They got Gomez from Inter Miami. He's a Messi player, so he must be good. They got this guy, Cashin, from Derby County. I've never heard of him. That's something I didn't hear about. And they got Casper Nielsen. Now, Casper Nielsen, I've actually seen him only one game. I don't know how good he is. I saw him for like 20 minutes. I don't know about that. He was interesting to look at, if I'll be honest, but it was 20 minutes that I've ever seen him play, so I'm not going to tell you over here, this guy is that guy, am I now? So, overall, they got in a few random players. They are the club who does find some wonder kids from time to time. They did a lot of loans and stuff with, I mean, they're players that they're never going to use, let's be honest, but... For me, it's just another one where they didn't really do anything. Did they really need to do anything? Not really, so I'll put it in okay. I'll put it in that okay bracket. Chelsea. I actually did not follow Chelsea at all. Did they do anything? Wow, they didn't. They brought Chalobah back for what it's worth. And that's it. Oh yeah, they sold João Felix. João Felix is off to AC Milan. I keep forgetting that João Felix exists, man. I keep forgetting about this, man. Fofana, I mean, this guy is shit. Let's be honest. They didn't really do anything. They recalled a few loans. But when you're in a top 4 battle, like Chelsea is, surely you want to get someone in to maybe stock up the defense a bit, keep things a bit more tidy, but they didn't really bring anyone, so I'll put them in poor for now. We can revisit Chelsea as we go on. Crystal Palace is another club who did nothing. They could recall a few loans. They got this guy from Millwall, but other than that, they recalled a few loans, they did nothing else. So, for Crystal Palace, this is just poor. They're again in that mid-table brackets. Do you really have to do much? Maybe not, but still, you can always stock up, I think. I'll put them in okay for now, simply because, again, mid-table bracket, what are you really gonna... Do you really need anything? Everton had a poor window. They brought in a few players. Alcaraz from Flamengo. But they needed to do more, I think. They're not really in a relegation battle anymore. They've clawed their way up a bit, but they're in a poor place in the Premier League. You would expect them to sign a bit more than just one guy unknown from Flamengo. So that is not very good. Awful even. I don't even want to talk about these clubs. Wow, they are actually the worst clubs in the Premier League. Why do they even exist? Just reduce the Premier League to 18 clubs, because I don't want to watch this fucking shit, bro. I'll be honest, I don't want to watch these teams. Just reduce the league to 18 teams. They are a waste of time. They are an actual waste of time. Especially Southampton, Southampton, bro, why do you even exist? Why does this club even exist? You come up, you get relegated. You come up, you get relegated. If that's all you're gonna do, stay in the fucking championship, mate. Nobody wants to watch you play football. Honestly. I hate these teams because they just take the piss. They don't even try to stay up in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest, Brentford, when they came up, Leicester back 10 years ago, when they came up, they fought to stay up. These teams are not trying, man. I hate that. Leicester has not really tried. I don't think I've heard anything from Leicester transfer-wise. Yeah, they brought this guy in. Bali from Palma. Is that supposed to be Parma? I'm guessing that's supposed to be Parma. But again, you're in a relegation battle and they're doing nothing. That is awful. You can't be bothered with this. Liverpool. You're in a title race, just like Arsenal is. But Liverpool, to be fair to them, are first. So the only reason I don't put them in pathetic, just like Arsenal, is because they are first. However, if you look at the long-term future for Liverpool, they have a lot of players who are about to leave, whose contracts are coming to an end, who are getting old, and they will need to restock for the next season, and for the seasons after that. They are not at all preparing themselves for the future here, so Liverpool should have gotten a bit more into the club, I think, at January. They haven't, and if they fall off in the second half of the season, or if they fall off next season, that is because they don't replace players quickly enough. So for me, this is an awful window, and I'm not saying they will drop off, by the way. Man City, by far the most spent in this window. This is a bit deceptive. Echeverri was already coming to Man City. He was already done last season, so this isn't really a January window signing. But we got rid of Gabori again. I keep forgetting that this guy exists. Okay, but yeah, Khursanov, Hayes, Reis, however he's pronounced, and Marmoush Gonzalez. Gonzalez at the end has elevated the transfer window to be world class because it's everything that Man City needed. Got rid of Walker. Who we bought, very good player. I've watched him at Valladolid. I watch La Liga sometimes. Steady Eddie, always a 7 out of 10. I like watching him. So he's been good as well. He's now on loan. He's a future player. And you just look around here and, I mean, these are the players that we needed. Haaland backup, who can play in attacking midfield. He can play with Haaland and for Haaland. Nico Gonzalez, Rodri backup. We needed that desperately. We waited too long to sign him, but we finally gotten him. Then Hayes and Husanov. I mean, they're just young defenders. Husanov looked very good against Chelsea, despite his poor start. Most players collapsed after that poor start. He came back from that. Very well done on him. So, for Man City, I think, I mean, is anyone going to argue? Man City did the best in this transfer window. Man United, meanwhile. Oh my days, Man United. They got Dorgu, guys. They got Dorgu. I've watched Lecce this season. I don't need a translation, thank you. I've watched Lecce this season. Wow. I hope that they get... I really, really hope that these men never win a trophy again. Because the way they operate, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. They got Aiden Heaven from Arsenal, bro. They're getting the Arsenal rejects now. This is what mid-table clubs do. They deserve everything. Anthony to Real Betis. I forgot about this. Wow, yeah. In fact, I need to relegate them to pathetic. Leicester had a better window than you. Newcastle. I actually did not follow Newcastle's window a lot. They did fuck all. Yeah, that's awful. When you're trying to fight for European spots, you should do something. They did nothing. You've still got no one for the decent spots here. I guess everyone in the Premier League was just awful this window. But yeah, Nottingham Forest here next. They got in a free agent. Someone, Tyler Binden. I thought this was Tyler Bidding for a second. Who has been very talked about so far. They got in someone from Reading. And they got Dalla on loan, apparently. Didn't know about that. So yeah. They've got a few players here, but Are any of these players gonna help them get top 4, which will be their goal? No. So it is sport. It is sport. I know they are achieving at the moment, but still, you are in that position. You want to fight for the top 4, surely. They haven't gotten anyone in who is gonna help them get top 4, so that is a bit bored if you ask me. Now we can scroll down here, and Tottenham has actually been a bit active, but they haven't signed any quality in my opinion. Like, who is this? Kinski, of course, they did get him, a backup goalkeeper. I mean, getting a few players back. Alfie Dorrington, he wasn't good enough, I suppose. I mean, they've got Donzo, they got Tel, but is there any quality in this? Like, maybe Donzo and Tel. They're not gonna win anything this season anyways. They're not in a title race. They're just trying to claw up, try to save some face this season, I suppose. Try to set up for the next season. So I'll put that in decent, even though I don't think it's very well done. Now, West Ham and Wolves. Evan Ferguson, by the way. All known. Evan Ferguson, remember he was hyped up, and then everyone realized, oh wait, he's not actually good. James Ward-Prowse and Josh Landers. Where's Josh Landers? I've never heard about him. I played from Hibernian. So yeah, West Ham, I mean, they're in that same bracket as all these mid-table teams. They didn't do much, but they didn't need to do much. Wolves has had one of the better windows actually, because they brought in some qualitative players to help with that relegation battle they're in. So they also extended the signing of Cunha. So I'll put them in the good bracket. So this is my final thoughts here. This is the final, I suppose, thing on the transfer window this season, January transfer window in the Premier League. Man City, world class, signing everything they needed. Some teams in here just not trying at all, and I think it's very obvious to see here, by the way. You just look at this line. Tottenham Hotspur is barely visible, by the way. That is a reference to how much they ghost in big moments. But yeah, you can just see, yeah, just how many teams are all below this okay line. They just don't try. Premier League clubs don't try hard enough. So when Premier League clubs like lose tournaments and stuff, I don't feel sorry for them, because they're not trying at all. When Premier League sees Man City win a title 4 times in a row, I'm not sorry for them, because you did not try in these transfer windows. I mean, look at this. I've got 4 different teams in pathetic here. Leicester City should be there as well, let's be honest. Newcastle, Liverpool, you could argue that they should be in there. I mean, this is tragic. This is tragic by the Premier League, really. The Premier League needs to fix up, man. They're not serious enough, but that is it for me. Some of these clubs could have done a lot more, but that is it. That is my cheap video idea, because I ran out of ideas. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.